Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. I'm always scouting, looking for entrepreneurs, people on the cutting edge, making an impact, changing the world. So today I have a special guest, Nicole Lubing, and she's an educator turned entrepreneur who helps homeschool students take their foreign language skills from zero to fuego, which I assume means hero. So it's going to be a fantastic conversation. It's going to be talking about language and teaching and teacherpreneur, and I'm happy to get this show started. So Nikki, welcome.
Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me.
We had connected through Podmatch, and you have an interesting bio because I'm always looking for people that are taking their previous or existing skill sets and creating their own future. So tell us more about your origin story and how you got started.
Absolutely. I was a public school teacher from 2005 to 2006, and I primarily taught high school Spanish. I also taught middle school Spanish in a bilingual environment, teaching English as a second language. And then after I did my middle school job for 4 years, that's when I quit in 2016. And I really did not have a plan. I just knew that the public school system was no longer for me. I really wanted to have more creativity and freedom in my work. And I love teaching. I never stopped loving teaching and working with students. I just wanted to make an impact on the students in a way that was a service to them. And so then I was looking for online jobs for whatever reason. I know it wasn't as popular at the time back in 2016, but I started there just out of curiosity, I suppose. I probably applied to about 50 online schools. And the first one that actually got back to me was VIP Kid, which was based in China. And so I started with teaching English as a second language. And I did that for about 4 years for a couple different companies based in China, one in Taiwan. And I ended up really getting into my entrepreneurial spirit using that because I was able to recruit other teachers, and each teacher I recruited, I would typically earn around $100, and there was bonuses with that. And so I started my YouTube channel, and I became kind of a pillar in the community. People would watch my videos and learn how to get hired. And I even got invited to Taipei because of all that. They saw the work I was doing, and then they invited me to their 20-year anniversary at iTutor Group, which is another ESL company I worked for. But then in 2020, things changed between the US and China. And after a while, 2020, China just basically shut out foreign teachers. And I kind of foresaw that coming.
Yeah.
And with that foresight, I shifted to another platform called OutSchool. And that platform serves primarily homeschool students. But then when 2020 hit, they served everyone because all the kids were at home. And so obviously there's much more reach. However, so I shifted back to Spanish, and I created an organization on that platform. Yeah. So if you think of like a real estate broker, they have their own business, but they're utilizing a platform that exists. So that's kind of how you could look at OutSchool. It's still my business, but they do a lot of the advertising and marketing for me. And so now I'm finally at this point where I'm bringing on other teachers. It's not just me teaching. So it's an interesting shift.
And so you're basically leveraging online platforms, basically creating communities, and then going into people that sign up for this platform primarily for homeschool.
Yes. So, and the way OutSchool works is a lot different than what I was doing for the Chinese companies. That was definitely more a mix of me just teaching, and they provided the students, and then I recruited teachers, and I also created a course. So I taught other teachers how to kind of create their own teaching business. So I had that for a while through Kajabi. I don't know if you've heard of Kajabi. Yeah. It's a platform where you can create courses. And then But when I shifted to OutSchool, now it's more really focusing on homeschool families, like I said. And then so that it's like, K to 12, but I focus on 8 to through middle school primarily. But I'm going to a homeschool convention because I really want to work towards bringing in my own people, not just relying on the platform.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of Facebook ads for us. So there's value in working with them. They do take about 30% of the pay. They take exactly 30% of the pay. But it is worth it when you know how much money goes into advertising, because I've tried Facebook ads in the past. I've done them in the past, and I know high price that can be. So I definitely appreciate that. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey for sure.
Yeah. That's very interesting. The foreign language aspect is one thing, and but I've always been passionate about education because because I realized that in order to kind of make it in this world, I had to play by the rules. But then eventually you hit a breaking point where it's like you either stay with the dying system or you go and create your own thing. So which is what you sounded like what you did, and we all know education, healthcare, finance, transportation, all these legacy industries. People are waking up and realizing that they're not doing a good job anymore. When you see education, because I know, for example, I support Khan Academy, and are you seeing more students doing this? More students becoming homeschooled? I think there was a report in the Wall Street Journal yesterday where majority of Americans think college is not worth it anymore. They can go out and create, do their thing. So, where do you see this education landscape?
Homeschooling is definitely skyrocketing. It's growing massively. So, parents really want to take their children's education into their own hands. Yeah. And homeschooling has so many avenues and ways that people can go about doing it. They call it unschool, kind of not using that traditional method at all. Yeah. There's world schooling. There's all these different ways to do it. So I do feel that I'm in a really sweet spot in that regard in doing this type of work. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting how people are adjusting to educating their kids. Like I said, education is, especially United States, we're falling behind China and Taiwan and Korea, all these other countries. They're basically outsmarting our kids. So then what happens is the government ends up banning these. They try to kick out the competition and try to insulate, and instead of trying to innovate and get better. So with these platforms, are you seeing a higher growth? Are like people more onboarding to this after COVID? What are you seeing?
That's a good question. There was definitely a peak in 2020, 2021, and it has maybe leveled out, if you want to call it that, where the kids who were doing it just be at home during COVID have gone back. But then there's the way it's leveling out now is the people that are all in on homeschooling. So yeah, there was a bit of a loss with the kids who went back to school, but I still see the whole homeschool community in general growing. So I think I'm still going to be seeing that kind of go back up again over the years here. So, and I also have after school students that I serve too. So, and that's part of why I am growing my team, so I can have people in different states, because I have a lot of students from California reach out to me. I'm in Illinois, and I can't really serve them in the after school hours because they might want a class at 7:00 and that's 9:00 for me. That's why I really, need those teachers in the Pacific time zone that could work with students at those times.
And the other thing is foreign language. The best way to learn foreign language is to go into that country and talk to people, experience the culture, and as opposed to sitting down and, but with your platform. So my question is, if you could integrate these foreign language courses, and then are these a lot of these home students, are their parents like taking them on experiences and trips? Like if you teach, Spanish, are they taking them to Latin America and they can, you know, live in that country for months and, hop on your platform, get some lessons, go out and apply it? What are your thoughts on that?
The way that my program works right now, I would say, is definitely more for the convenience of adding in a language, because my classes right now are typically once a week for 25 minutes for the group classes. So that's serving people who kind of want to dip their toe in and get access to foreign language that they can't get at home. But then I also have tutoring students who will sign up for multiple days a week, and they are very serious about taking their language to the next level, and really, whether it's taking it to the next level to prepare them for high school. I have elementary students who want to prepare for middle school and really become immersed. So it really varies, I would say, by family. And in terms of immersion, there are different schools of thought on how to learn a foreign language, just like anything else. And my approach is, I would say, in the middle. I do a bit of the traditional style and then incorporate that immersion too. And then I have, teachers that I've been interviewing now. I'm looking for those teachers who do more of the immersion style too, so parents have that choice. I want a menu of classes for my parents to be able to choose from based on what their preferences are, because everybody does have a different preference. And that's the beauty of homeschool. You can do what you want, do it your way, and what works for you and your child.
Yeah. It's it's a meritocracy. So whatever way, there's, there's millions of means. The final end is, can you do well in life and be, happy, productive citizen, and which is interesting because like my nephew, he's half Korean, and his parents take him out of school 1 week before the end so that he can go to Korea and like learn, and it's much more valuable than staying in the school and 5 days and do whatnot. But
last week of school, we know there's nothing going on, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's better use of time and money to like actually be in a place where you're actually like immersed and experiencing things, and really that's where the best learning is. So what is your philosophy on education? Are you trying to disrupt it like Sal Khan? Really Khan Academies, turned a lot of heads, and
yes,
this is very interesting. So
okay, so what's interesting, I don't think I said my company name. You said Nicole Lubing, but I'm from Skillabration. That's the company that I own. And so my mission and vision with Skillabration is to not only teach foreign language, but I will be adding on other skills as well. So when I named my company, I was really thinking, how can I incorporate the word skill? And skills are something to celebrate. So that's why it's Skillabration. And for now, I'm saying, skills are learning a foreign language is a skill to celebrate. But over time, I want to add in those skills that kids typically don't get in school, such as entrepreneurship, financial literacy, emotional intelligence. So yes, I will be disrupting the typical traditional schools and learning style.
I still ceases to amaze me why schools do not teach entrepreneurship or financial literacy, and still teaching stuff from the 40s and 50s, just
Exactly.
really irrelevant stuff. And it's like that's why I'm so passionate about education, but everybody's doing it in different ways. So it's very interesting. How can people contact you, follow you, visit your website, reach out to you?
You can find me at Skillabration. So it's skill A and Bration. So just how it sounds. And then Nikki at Skillabration. And once you go to skillabration.com, if you click the connect page, you can see all the social media and stuff too.
Yeah. And for all the audience and listeners out there, let's thank Nikki. Really very interesting, solving an important need, teaching our kids, going out about it using technology, entrepreneurship, applying it through foreign language. very fascinating discussion. All of Nikki's resources will be in links in show notes. She's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. Check those out. And with that, thanks so much, Nikki, for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.